Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a gold Reinhardt. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that really does help me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. So here is our Reinhardt.
I'm not one for standing around.
Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not my favorite fire strike. Ooh, nice diva here for you to swing at. Still don't like that fire strike. So you don't want to fire strike when you can't change your mind out of it, would sort of be a, that's too strong a word to say it, but that's a bit of a rule of thumb, where you would generally are like, hey, I fire strike, and, I fire strike here, and I can fade behind the corner. I'm here, I peek, I throw the fire strike, I unfade. You've now done 2 fire strikes just sort of in the open, and this one when you're trapped. So, like, you were just completely vulnerable to any incoming damage. And remember, well, 100 damage might seem like a lot. It's an okay amount of damage that you're expecting to do with a Fire Strike, and yes, it's a piercing move, so it can hit multiple opponents, but you're pretty regularly going to take more than 100 damage if you just stand in the open and Fire Strike. You might not have on this one. Let's take a look, in fact. 458. You went down to 388, so you took some damage there. Not huge amounts of damage, so that fire strike ended up working out for you, but you want to be conscious of when you're throwing these, and specifically, you're looking to go, hey, I'm looking to do this when I can go behind cover effectively after I throw it, be behind cover for my unwind type thing, preferably for your wind up too, and just be out of cover for your actual throwing of it. You're too low health to be swinging. You're now out here with less than half health swinging when they can all see you. This isn't very good. Put your shield up. No. You're lucky that they're not shooting at you. You fire striked when they all had a good sight line on you, were relatively close to you. They could all see you. You had less than half health. You could have taken a trip back to spawn right there. Swing. Yep. Shield. No, we're still not doing these fire strikes. We are still not doing these fire strikes. There's every reason that you should get eliminated right now. What if McCree just shoots you in the head twice? What if Lucio hits a couple headshots on you? Like, there's too much damage that you can just take here, and there's no reason to believe that you'll survive, and you cannot change your mind to shield while throwing out a fire strike the way that you can while swinging your hammer.
Double kill.
Hard shield. Okay. Trying to teach you good habits. We're trying. Yes, there weren't any enemies left, but we are trying to teach you good habits, darn it. Okay. So what you could do here is rather than stand here, you could push up and control this. And then, it's not the best screen for it. Let's unpause for just a second. Okay, there we go. If you pushed up, instead of just standing on cart where you have 4, you pushed up and controlled outhouse here, then they'd either have to walk past you and you'd swing into them and you'd get to hit the first swing on them before they could hit a swing on you, or they could walk out here and that causes much the same thing where you get to swing on them, but you have cover, at least limited cover, from the outhouse, from a peek up here, etc., whereas their Reinhardt is having to advance through your backline being able to shoot at him the whole time. And you might say, oh, but their backline can shoot at my backline. Yeah, their backline can do that anyways. And it's up to your team to use cover if they want to avoid that. So when you have won a fight, when you have free space that you can take, pushing up ahead to take a corner that you can then hold ahead of the payload that they will have to push past is good. Even though your offense and their defense right now, you can push up and you get to play defense and make them push into you if they want to stop the card. Because if they don't, the card is going to get up to here for free. And that would be fine by you. Cool. Okay. You're purple. General rule of thumb, pretty strong rule of thumb. In fact, when you turn purple, you just hard shield until you can get behind cover and clear the purple. You don't want to fight while you're purple. Nope. Shield up, shield up, shield up. You can't get healed right now. You got eliminated because you chose to brawl while you were purple. Now, you didn't have a great place to go in terms of cover, but you still want to try. You hard shield, you get yourself back to here. You hard shield, you get yourself back to here, and then maybe back to here. That's what you're looking to do, or you just hard shield until the cover's over, or until the purple's over, and you accept that you're going to take damage from the opposing Reinhardt, but you're not going to take damage from the McCree, the Anna, the Junkrat, the Lucia, because those, the Diva, because those you're going to have your shield up, and you're going to let your shield take that damage instead of you when you're purple. Okay.
My ultimate is ready.
The payload has reached
It's fine. If you're going to push the card, I can live with it.
Is in my charge. Let us move it.
Who's got the hot hand?
group up here.
That was a better fire strike. You see what you did there? Now, I'd have preferred you actually started your fire strike throw here because you knew there was a Reinhardt there. You could tell that by your shield, whereas he might not have known that you were here yet. So you can actually press the button for your fire strike. You do that, you press your fire strike button, E. You press E. Reinhardt swings his hammer down, and as he's swinging his hammer down, you take one more step to the right here, and you've gotten to pre-aim here, and you swing this aim a little bit to the left, or you can pre-aim here, and it lines up as you step out, and then you've already pressed the fire strike button when you step out, so you throw the fire strike with your wind up, you throw the fire strike, and as soon as it leaves your hammer on its trajectory, then while your hammer is like up over here, you're stepping back behind cover here. That's what you generally want to do for these fire strikes. Now, what you did is okay. What you did makes your fire strike a little easier to aim, and we'll pretend a little more accurate over that. I don't necessarily agree that it makes you more likely to hit, because the opponents also get more reaction time, they get to see you, etc. But what you're doing does make your fire strikes a little easier to aim, so I'm fine with that. There's sometimes when that's right, it makes good training wheels regardless. But I do like that even though you partially do that part right, you're perfect on this part, where you close as you're doing the unwind animation from your fire strike. And I don't mind that we didn't get the hit. That's fine. Less good. What are you blocking for? No reason to be blocking in the open here. Not doing anything. Just go wait on the left here. That's all you need to do. Or you can decide that you want to go up to this fight, and you can push up to Jeep, or you can push up to Mega and then push out. Like, those are both options, but you shouldn't just stand here. This isn't a place. This isn't a place where you get to exist. You could even push up here and go be high ground, Reinhardt. You're going to hit it, I believe. You're going to hit the fire strike. You didn't try. You do need to try to hit the fire strikes, because your fire strike will destroy the tire if you hit it. So as it starts to get close, you do need to throw the fire strike. It puts extra pressure on him to potentially detonate it earlier. It makes him harder. It makes him have to zigzag, which can buy a little bit more time for someone else to shoot it down. You do have to try. It's the only way you get better. Okay, you're purple, so shield up. Shields up. Okay. You hit this. Okay. This is dicey, because you are unfortunately purple at 123 health. So you can shield, and you should shield, but you're just kind of in trouble because 2 swings are going to take you out. But he got you down with 1 because someone else hit you that you could have potentially shielded. You'd have had to turn your shield a little, but hey.
Fire at will.
The real thing we could get into is, hey, you knew there was an Anna up there. You could have been looking at her even when you're swinging, because when you're doing your swing, you can only hit him once with your swing. So you hit him with your swing, and then you immediately shift your screen to look up towards the Anna to check if you need to block, or you hit him with your shield swing, and you immediately cancel it into a shield aimed up in that direction, and then you go for another swing, and then immediately cancel it as soon as it's done damage again. Because yes, her throwing a sleep dart or a nade is not a particularly unusual thing for her to do when you've hit a shatter or she's nanoed her teammate. What do we got? There's a McCree. Sure.
The payload has reached the chip. Taking care of you.
No, this isn't where we play. If you want to go back and push the cart, now that the door's open, I'll live with that. Or you can, like, wait here or here where you have hard cover. You're not going to be here in the middle. That's just giving them a chance to shoot at your shield. That's not what we do. These are okay options. Could even go up over here and be like, aha! I wouldn't do this yet, though. But these are the places that you can go to. You play for corners. Corners. You don't stand in the open. What the open is for is a place that you transition through to get to opponents you want to swing at or to get to new cover. You don't just stay in the open like you're doing. Unfortunate. If you knew he was doing that, you could have pushed up and taken this space already, and now you could be fighting Hog while these guys are driven off, or you could be, if Hog had been driven off further, pushing up to try to join, be more scary stuff into them. But you're pushing cart. Now you're doing none of the above. So again, your team is about to get pushed back because they are using Valk. Maybe not. Excuse me, they're using Beat. You're using Valk. Maybe you don't get pushed back. So you have to decide, am I going to play this corner or am I going to push into this corner and then push up? You could straight push up because, yes, you have plenty of shield to do that. I'm just a little concerned about, is your team going to be able to support you? Because your Zarya is back there. So usually you'd want to fight here, but you could go, hey, I go for some swings and then I back up after I've exhausted my Zarya bubble. Swing. Fire strike in the middle. Oh, look, you lose a quarter of your health, and you get slept. And you got slept before you could have put your barrier back up. Because fire strikes take away your option to cancel into a block. And as you get better, people know that. And that's when you're going to get pinned, shattered, slept darted, etc. Okay, she can't actually, at any reasonable distance, reactively sleep dart you to fire striking, but still, it's a vulnerability. Like, if you see the sleep dart coming when you're swinging, you can cancel your shield, you can cancel your swing into a shield. You cannot do that with a fire strike. It's not good. Yeah, I noticed that, Bluff. It is a little quiet. It's probably because I started quite a bit later than usual, so my audience is a little different. I don't know if this is the normal watcher crew or if this is different YouTube discovery or what, but that's fine. Now that you've broken the silence, maybe they'll chat more, and we'll get to see.
Moira by your side.
I don't like this. You're down 1, just let it be. Yeah, definitely just let it be. They're gonna ult, you're down 1. Well, Yeah. Reset, please. Reset, please. Reset, please. Reset back to spawn. Reset. Please don't stagger. Okay, if that's gonna happen, you can play. Nope. Nope. We're still not in this. Good. Let it happen. Don't do it. Don't shatter. Don't shatter. Fine. Now it won't bother me if you get a shatter off. I'm not convinced you will, but it won't bother me if you do. Yeah. That fight worked out for you, okay, in terms of the ults that got used. Now you win this fight. Don't go in yet. Don't go in yet. No need to give them a bunch of shield either. You're gonna shatter. You're not? Surely you're gonna shatter. Sure. Okay. Like. This is a big shatter. You guys have Velt going, but this will clean up and win the fight. Do you need it? No, but it's going to get things moving a fair bit faster. I'm totally fine with this investment if you shatter here. You are now using Coalescence and Visor as well. I am no longer okay with you shattering. Instead of investing a second ult into the fight that you're up 6-5, you are now talking about investing a fourth ult into a fight where you're up 6v5. That we can't do. It also wasn't aimed particularly well. This should have been aimed further to the left. Like, you knew that they'd retreated over here a bit. You know it travels under the cart. It should have been aimed more in this direction. Okay, so now you used 4 ults, and the reason you could use 4 ults is because, sort of, you still shouldn't have used 4 ults, but the reason you could use 4 ults and basically be unanswered is because they used a bunch of ults in the previous fight to stop you guys, which was good for you and a mistake for them. You now have basically repeated their mistake, though, so now for the fight that's actually hard to win, the next fight, the one on top of their spawn, you don't have many ults left, and they have an okay ult bank. Like, I'm not claiming that you guys are massively behind on ults, you're basically even on ults, they're a little bit ahead of you, but that's not what you wanted. You should have had 2 more ults to roll into this fight.
My ultimate is
Yeah, do you guys hear him?
My ultimate is ready. I pass this forth.
Again, your default would be you push up to this corner and you get to hold it. And if they don't push in past you to stop you, the cart gets to you for free, which is cool. You take that space while it's free between fights.
Get into position. I'm being attacked.
Okay. You're gonna keep swinging. No, not fire strike, swing. Shield, 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 shield! It's 4 on card. Again, push up ahead. Okay, you don't take corners after 1 fight, which is something you can work on. You fire strike in the open too often, and you don't shield when you're purple. These are all mistakes that need to be fixed. Fortunately, they're all pretty easy mistakes to fix for a Reinhardt player. Let's keep going, though, and see what else we see.
Ready for
Where did a medic like you learn to handle a weapon like...
ready for 5, 4.
Okay. You still have a Zarya, you've got the Moira Bap, should have lots of healing, have a good tank partner. Not really getting a lot by standing here. Again, all of them are looking at you. You have to be serious about what am I really getting trade-wise for throwing out this fire strike. Not great stuff compared to how much damage they could do to you. Okay, drop your shield and charge it. You want to have a shield to actually take this fight when you want to take this fight. And you're going to want to take this fight probably in the next 4 seconds. So you need to be hiding behind cover and recharging shield at this point. Oh look, you've dropped to take the fight and you only have 600 shield. That's not good. The fire strike. Use your bubble, yep.
This will heal you.
You're gonna have to pay a little more attention to Anna's. You get slept a little too often. Swing, and now shield. Shield! Shield! There was no reason after you. Hard shield. You're going to hard shield for 2 reasons, and they're going to happen to protect you from a 3rd reason that you don't even have to be thinking about. 1, you are low on health. Anytime you get below your armor threshold, you want to start thinking about, should I be shielding now? Frequently the answer is yes, but the answer is not always yes. Here it was fine for you to go for your final swing to eliminate this Reinhardt, for example. No problem. But now you've just gone, hey, I just sort of went up. I just kind of went up in the fight. Maybe we're not actually up in the fight, but I feel like I just went up in this little mini contained fight. So I want to stabilize for a second. I have a full barrier. I might as well stabilize for a second. So just eliminated someone. Probably want to throw a barrier up to let things stabilize. Also, low enough health threshold that we would generally want to stabilize. These are 2 different reasons for your shield to go up and be blocking the Zarya right now while you, let's even pretend, just assess the situation. And that would just happen to block a 3rd reason that we don't even have to be thinking about, which is, oh hey, that would block the Enonade that comes in. Why yes, yes it would. Now you have to shield. You have to. I know, you have the lamp and you're going to choose to swing because you have the lamp, and I'm okay with that. But, like, your reflexes should be screaming at you to shield right now. It's okay with me if you break those reflexes and go, that Zarya, 1 swing will take her, and I have the lamp, and if she destroys the lamp, I'm going to go down, so my best bet is to swing with her. That would be correct. But I want your reflexes screaming to shield, even if you then override your reflexes to go for this swing. Swing. It had to be a swing. And now you walked out of your lamp. Ooh. That could have gone so bad. That could have gone so bad. And yes, any of your teammates could have eliminated that Zarya for you without you leaving the lamp field, without you risking your life by not even swinging, fire striking, all that. Enforce your corner. Your corner. Your corner is right here. You swing into the open from here. It's great. If he tried to pin like that, with you right here, you might have caught him with your hammer on the way through. You could have pinned him right into the cart. Could have been great. Could have been great. Power strike still isn't right. You see how by him fire striking there, he just gave you a chance to shatter him in the team? Yeah. He's going to do it. He's going to. Be ready to shatter. No, he's doing it first. But you're swinging, so you can cancel into a shield. You have time. You did have time. More shielding, less swinging at this point. They have a ton of temporary health. You're not really interested in chunking through all that temporary health, and it expires over time. So, like, yes, there's still value to swinging into it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't swing into it. But this is a lot of swinging into stuff that you really can't do anything with. that is sort of just putting you, now you're at half health, and they still have temporary health with the exception of Lucio and what, Moira back there. No, who is that? Is that Moira? I'm trying to get my team straight. McCree. Lucio and McCree, yeah. That can't be a, that has to be a shield. This has to be a shield. This has to be a shield. Yeah. You had to be shielding there. Again, you're purple. You gotta. Okay. This is what you want. Fine with me. Why did you stand still there? Why? Why did you stand still there? You were hitting him with swings, and now you're not. By the way, you had counterpin available here. You hit it, okay. And now you're going for the card. He could be eliminated by now if you hadn't done that little pause, that pause in your micropathing. Mm-hmm. Fine. Less fine. Shield, shield. I promise you shield. Too late. You can't shield when you're like, I mean you can, but you want to be shielding before you're at like 100 health, because Reinhardt can still hurt you through your shield. Now your team can out heal just Reinhardt swinging at you, but you want to give them a little more room to play with. Yeah, it might have been. He didn't have it. It was still on cooldown, but hey. You do, Nordstrom. That support is called Zarya. Zarya is that support. Yes, I know you're going to say Zarya is not a support, and you're correct, but if you really think how Overwatch works and you think of it more in like MOBA terms, I never went super deep in the MOBA world, but if you think of it more in MOBA terms, like your tanks really are supports that just do a different sort of thing. Like something that has what would you call something that ability wise has a stun, a cleanse, the ability to protect something with a bubble from damage, the ability to eat offensive abilities, ultimates, etc. Like these are all abilities that we would sort of think of associated with, oh, you're a support. You enable the carry to do work. You enable the DPS to do work. You enable these things. Like that's fine. So I'm just laughing. They're, you know, it's fine. You supports don't have to be healers, but in Overwatch world they tend to be, because of how we've actually done it up with our tanks and supports and all that. But that's fine. 2-2-2. In the world of 2-2-2, I'm going on a tangent.
Allow me to repair.
Why did you drop? There was a Genji to swing at. Bubble's absolutely clear purple. It's amazing. They clear purple, they clear Discord, they're great. Really? You got shattered by that? Like, I know you physically get shattered by that. I'm just surprised at this distance. You have all the time in the world to have shielded there. You can hear the voice line. It had to travel some distance. I'm a little disappointed. Okay. I guess I shouldn't be, because apparently these are par for the course shatters. Shield, shield, you're too low. Now you can be swinging, this is fine. Shield, shield.
I am on fire. You'd be wise to stay out of my sight.
Yeah, I hear you, Nordstrom. I hear you.
Get into position.
It's like a tired wrestler, a tired newbie wrestlers who just sort of like go, okay, I'm gonna I'm going to stand here, hunched over, with my hands not quite on my knees, but my hands basically on my knees. Oh, I guess I've got to do headgear since it's a wrestler. Like, the newbie wrestlers that aren't yet conditioned for it and are in the, like, oh, I'm tired type thing. Maybe that's what Ryan is doing.
My ultimate is charging.
My will made real. Targets in sight.
This isn't a good place for you. You could justify being here. You could have been here and caught this. You could have even pushed up to here and then like been like, no, maybe I'll back up. I wouldn't have loved being here, but you could have done it. But again, not just on the cart. Have a little bit of cover, something you can use. A little bit of cover, something you can use.
This is my will.
Hold on.
Still not a great fire strike. Fortunately, his isn't any better. Good. Swing away with your bubble. Not sure what the shield up was good here because he had a bubble, you didn't. You don't really want to swing into his bubble. You could have justified it because you could have hit the Lucio too, but you just hard shielding here would be great. This is less great. Again, you just brought your shield up for an instant there, and I want you to actually be shielding, not just shielding for an instant. You're not trying to block specific things with your shield right now. You're trying to block generic damage right now. You are not going, I need to flash my shield to catch a sleep dart or something, or to interrupt a hack. You need to actually be using your shield to make it so that Reinhardt is the only one who can hurt you so that your supports can actually win. Give your supports more room, more time to get you back up. 76 health fire strike. Amazing. You aren't immediately... Huh. Okay. Yes, you ended up getting a bigger shatter, but that shatter was not free, whereas the shatter after he shattered was basically free. Correct, Nordstrom. Okay, you know there's something to your right. You're going to have to angle like this to see if it can protect you. The answer is no, but you need to try to angle like this to try to protect yourself.
Anyone need some healing? This is not over. It's
I'd say the other most important thing that bubbles clear in this meta is they clear you getting frozen. So if you're getting frozen but you're not frozen yet and you get bubbled, there you go. You're not in danger of being frozen anymore, and that's really great.
Graviton surge is ready. This is my will. 60 seconds remaining.
Is that all? Come out and face me! Barrier destroyed!
You have no shield left because you used it poorly. Better fire strike. Generally, when swing at him, like, if you don't have your own bubble, you can actually just shield while he's bubbled swinging at you and then try to swing back afterwards if you're going to, but no. Okay.
Thank you.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Wait for me! Understood.
He should have had way more shield to play with than that. He used way too much up top when it wasn't really helping him. Again, be greedy with your shield, guys. Your shield is for you. There's occasional moments where you can let your team use it as a firing platform, but those are very few and far between.
Help me. You're covered.
Unfortunate, but you can still win this. Nope, now you can't.
This is not over.
Allow me to repair the damage.
My ultimate is ready.
60 seconds remaining.
Don't worry, my friend.
That's a Reinhardt. You can pin that. Why did you not pin that? He's not looking at you, and he has nowhere to go. You can pin this. I promise you can pin this. I promise. Literally nowhere to go. This is where you pin? Just walk out and shatter. Shatter from behind the cart so you don't get slapped.
Hammer down!
It took some effort to not get anyone in that shatter. Unfortunate. Okay. Now you can drop your shield. You have full health and a coalescence running through you. Soak damage on your health, not your shield. Purple instantly got cured. The bubble. Shield up. Shield up. No! Shield up! You do not want to risk trading your life for a fire strike. Move right, move right, move right. Okay, deal with the McCree. Deal with the McCree. Make him waste flat, good. Okay, so the three things that you are going to want to work on, are, let's do better there. 1, purple equals shield. That's important. You're going to do that. Anytime you get purpled, you need to sort of reflexively bring up your shield. Now, every once in a while, you might mentally, intentionally override that to go, hey, I have 400 health left. My opposing Reinhardt has 30 health left. I'm going to do this final swing. Every once in a while, you may override that, but your default action should be, I turn purple, my shield instantly goes up. That should be a thing that you do, that you just understand. The second thing that we're going to work on is we're going to go, hey, fire strikes are not on cooldown. Fire strikes are for corners. You can use them in other ways. You can finish people off with fire strikes, go like swing, swing, cancel the second swing as soon as it's done damage into a fire strike. You can fire strike someone who's running away if no one else is looking at you. There's other places that you can fire strike through windows. Like there's other places you can do fire strikes, but your default fire strike should be from corners, and you do way too much fire striking when you're in the open, when it's not going to finish someone else off, and also when you're low health. Like your general rule of thumb, and this is much more overridable than these rules that I'm giving you, is, hey, if I don't have armor, I should probably think about shielding instead of swinging. That's a very overridable rule. These two are both less overridable rules that I'm giving you here. And then the third thing that I want you to think about is corners in general. I want you after one fight to push up 2 corners and enforce the corners and go, I am going to sit my Reinhardt here because this is in the corner, and I'm going to swing into the opening because the cart is getting pushed from back here, and the opponents have to push through this to get to the cart. Because if they don't, the cart will get all the way to here to me for free, and then yes, I'll have to push into them, and that sucks, but hey, I got all this space for free, which is great. Or if they push up, well, then I got the first swing on them, their backline can't shoot at me, and that's also great. And I have this hardcover protecting me from a widow over here, or whatever the case may be. So those are the 3 things that I want you to work on. Please go, hey, I want to think about purples. Every time I'm in a match against an Anna, I'm going to let it occupy like 5 to 15% of my brain space, that whenever I get purpled, I need to put my shield up. And the same thing is generally going to apply to discords as well. So if you do the same thing with discords, you'll also fix that. So that's the first thing. Whenever you're in a match against an Anna or maybe a Zen, let that occupy 15% of your brain space. Let it be something you're actively thinking about while playing the match, even if it causes your play to get a little bit worse because you're focusing on it, so you have less brain power available for tactical decisions and all that jazz. That's okay, because you're going to build this habit correctly as your play goes down a little bit. And then once you feel like you've got it mastered, your play will start to go back up a little because you've got it mastered. That's good. And then you move on to learning the next thing, which can be, oh, hey, I am now working on making my fire strikes better. Okay, so now my play is getting a little worse again, Great, great, great. Okay, but then, oh, it's getting better. Okay, and it actually gets a little higher because now you've added fire strikes plus this. And then you go, okay, I'm working on corners, and then, okay, now I think I've got it, etc. And now I'm up here. And now I'm working on the next thing. And even though I'm working on this next thing that is making me worse, you can tell my new base is now, I'm drawing this baseline across, is now higher up here than where we started. And if we keep doing this, while our line has falls, it falls upwards eventually as we stack these micro habits. So work on them one at a time, get that habit. If the habit starts to go away and you find when you start working on your fire strikes, you start not putting your shield up when you get purpled again, stop working on fire strikes and go back to working on purples until it actually gets sticky in your mental habits in how you play the game, until it becomes a reflexive thing. Cool. Hope that helps. If you guys have questions, go ahead and throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. Okay. Okay. Should also confirm Zarya doesn't have personal bubble when shattering. Depends on the situation. If her personal bubble is going to block a lot of the shatter, yes, but there's other times where you're quite happy to go, I'll shatter into this because she's far enough back that she might protect herself from the shatter, but she's not going to, the shatter is still going to get good value. Yeah, basically Nordstrom. Glad deleted is on it. Yeah, that would be wrong, Aspen. Definitely not a firing platform for your team. Definitely not. It's very rare that you do that. You'll occasionally do a little bit of that to let your team clear a widow that's on an off angle. You might like put your shield up to let a soldier, a Kree, a Zen behind your shield force a widow to leave for a moment. But that's about it. You're not just standing there going, "Aha, I'm here," and now we shall line up one Ryan versus the other, like one Ryan here, the other Ryan here, with our little ex-soldiers all shooting at each other from behind the shields. No, we are past that in modern warfare, modern video games. We don't line up to shoot at each other. This isn't the This isn't the Americans fighting for independence and the British soldiers line up. No, no, no. We're long past that. Everyone spreads out. Everyone does the, hey, if the Rhine has a shield, that's great. I don't care. I'm going to be over here where I have cover. I'm going to be over here where I have high ground. I'm going to be over here, and they're going to do the same thing. And if they don't do the same thing, if they go, aha, we're going to line up behind our shield, well, your team that's not lined up behind your shield, and your shield shouldn't even be here. You should be using cover yourself as the Rhine. They're going to be able to shoot around the shield. And if the shield turns, aha, well, still get to shoot around the shield. So that's what we want to do. And if you go, oh, but none of these guys have shields, right, but they have cover. So they tuck behind their cover. They tuck behind their cover if they get into any trouble. Cool. Okay. Hope that does that. Back to Wraith here. Anything else? One question. When you are holding a corner and it's a wider choke like Junker there, if they go far side, what's your play on Rhine? Sure. So let's pretend for a moment that our Reinhardt is holding here, and the opposing team, with their own Reinhardt, doesn't push through here, but instead pushes through. They do this like swing. We're going to push through over here, and we're going to be like this. That's actually okay with you because it's not just you. You have teammates that are, spread out doing their thing, etc., and maybe over here. And by them rotating out like this to break your choke, what's happening is your backline is getting to shoot at them for longer than their backline, because their backline is with their Reinhardt, gets to shoot at you or your backline. So your backline gets to do damage to them first and gets a bigger, sort of a longer lead of poke time for the opposing team rotating out away from your Reinhardt as opposed to pushing here. If they push here with their Reinhardt, their backline can almost immediately shoot your Reinhardt. Your team's still at a slight advantage in terms of when they could shoot into your Reinhardt, but if they go out here, you get an even bigger lead. This is still better. This is still better for the attacking team than this is, but you are, while you're not having the swing disadvantage and all that, you are still giving the defending team a bigger poke advantage. So it's the right thing to do, but you don't mind if you're the defending Reinhardt that they do this because you know your backline is getting an advantage. And in this, you then have a decision to make. Are you going to walk up and swing into a bunch of them and cleave through a bunch of them, even though you're going to take a ton of damage in return? Or are you just going to go, okay, maybe I retreat to the next choke, or whatever the case may be? Those are basically your options. You can push up and go, I'm going to swing, and now I get to cleave into a bunch of you, whereas their Reinhardt only gets to cleave into you as Reinhardt. Or are you going to fall back to the next choke? Perfect, perfect. Do you consider Ryan a throw pick against a spam comp or poke comp? Not at all. On Junkertown, especially on attack, I can almost never manage to pull it off on this map. No, I don't. There are some long sight lines on Reinhardt on Junkertown, don't get me wrong. But if you understand how to work your way through the map, it's not that big a deal. Let's go over to first just to give an example. You're Reinhardt. Okay, you walk out here. You walk out here. You drop here. This is probably the biggest open, scariest space on the map, but you're able to get through this. It's not that far. Then you get to here. You have cover. Oh, they're all the way up there? I could push up to outhouse. Or I could push through here to take away their sight lines and use outhouse to break up sight lines, and then go like this, and then walk across like this, and then walk across like this, and we're on top of them. There's enough ways to create short sight lines on this map if you want to, as Reinhardt. I don't find it that terrifying, honestly, to try to play Reinhardt into this. Yes, if you just try to walk it down mid the whole time and go mid, 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 they're gonna have some long sight lines between here and that choke over there, between here and that choke over there. But you don't have to do that, so not a big deal. Are there better tanks? Yeah, there are. Yeah, there are better there are better tanks depending on what you're doing. Like snipers get really common, and with snipers getting really common on first point, for example, it can make more sense to pick Winston, Ball, Diva, or to play your own heavy poke game with Orisa, Hanzo type stuff. Those are both fine. But this map does not in any way lock out Brawl. Is other stuff easier, especially on ladder? Frequently. Frequently, yeah. Okay. Okay, that's going to do it here. I have time to do another one, so I'm going to hop into another one of these, and I hope to see you all in about 5 minutes. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.